Hi, welcome to another one of our exercise technique videos, and today we're going to look at battling ropes or power ropes, whatever you want to call them. Pretty simple exercise really, but the coordination and the timing really gets everyone on this. One of those exercises that must be done explosively fast, and if you do it for too long, if this lasts more than 20 seconds, you're going to execute the technique wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people in parks do this for like 2 minutes. Like, what are you doing? You're completely ruining that exercise. All right, so I'm going to show you 4 versions. This is the first one. This is probably the simple one. This is the easiest one to do, the double-handed wave. So firstly, like the technique for it, as Nathan's showing you here, he's got like quite a wide stance. All right, so a lot of people stand too narrow. If your feet are together, you're going to do it wrong. All right, so you've got to be quite wide stance in a good athletic position. So if you watch him get down in position, see how when he gets a nice posture through his entire torso. So you'll see here, very much like a, if I take him back, so very much like a bent over row. See how he's got he's very much like a deadlift position, right? So he's generating a lot of the power through his legs here. His hands are very close together too. That's another very important thing, because you're wanting to create, this is what I call a wave, but if you can get like a quite high and you can get it like flicking all the way to the end, it's very much like a whip action, like you're trying to use a whip. Right, so if you do that, you'll get it pretty much spot on. So see how as he comes up, and he comes up off his toes, if you notice very carefully there, watch him on the next one, as he comes up, and he even gets a bit of a jump into it to get a bit of extra momentum, because it's explosive, remember. So the more explosive he can make it, the better it'll be. So if I speed it up a bit for you, there you go. See how his toes come off the ground? He's getting that extra force and really ripping it through. All right, so that's the double-handed wave, and that's how to execute perfect form. Remember, no more than 20 seconds. Most people probably 15 might be better. All right, you're best to do more sets of less time instead of trying to make it an endurance exercise, which it is not. All right, so we'll have a look at the next one in a second. All right, here's the second one of our battling ropes or power rope exercises. This one's a very nifty one, and this brings in coordination a lot greater, so much more of a brain exercise and a much more difficult like draining exercise, to be honest. So bring in the stance of the lunge into it, and we also bring in the opposite working of the arms in the rope. So it's like a double whammy here of hit to the brain. So let's have a look at Nathan doing it, and you'll see he's executing an alternate lunge while he's trying to maintain perfect like rhythm and timing through his left and right hand. Quite often we see the dominant hand on this become like really whips the rope well, while the left hand doesn't really do a very good job. And you'll see in his posture here, he's keeping very like nice and tall, like a perfect lunge. So as you'll see him sort of, and that back foot staying very vertical like that. All right, so he's not losing any lunge form, and his rope form perfect with his left and right hand. See how he really flicks it through his wrist. I see that real flicking action. That's what makes the rope work well. All right. So this is a very good exercise to use as a variation in your training. Again, if you've got a problem with the lunge, though, maybe work on the lunge before adding this in, and maybe learn just the basic version of the alternate rope wave. All right. So in a second, I'll show you one of the more difficult rope exercises to do. Alright, here's a very tough exercise for a battling ropes exercise, and this one's the wood chop, using the ropes as the equipment. So quite often we use medicine balls, cable machines, even barbells at times. Alright, using the power ropes is extremely difficult. Is like to get 10 reps in a row and getting them quick is really hard. You're going to need to have quite a good grip on this as well. You can sort of see Nathan needs to hold the 2 ropes together, and then he's got to swing them right up high and then slam it down. So the rope makes that big whipping action. And you'll see how he has to make a big circular action, comes right up and then twist it, rotate it to the other side. So as he moves it, he's sort of got to swing it, see how his feet will jump and land on the other side and slam it down. Alright, so I'll play this in real time for you to give you an idea. Alright, so that gives you an example of just how explosive that exercise is and how tough it can be. Alright, but if you want to really develop that explosive power for sports, for example, great for football, this one. It's an awesome exercise to use. Again, don't do it for too long because you're going to make it slow, and it's not a slow movement. It really needs short repetitions of explosive tempo. Alright, so hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, here's the last one of our rope exercises. To be honest, there's stacks of them, there's many you can come up with. I've just shown you probably 4 of our more popular ones. This one's quite a tricky one because you're going to take your arms out wide and try, instead of just making a wave action, you're going to try and make a circular action. This one's a little bit like trying to clap your hands. But again, you've got to get the ropes as high as Nathan's got here. So let's have a look at how he does it. You see his hands come together and he makes like a big circular action. He has to come right up on his toes, and as he's exploding up, he's trying to sort of get the ropes out quite wide. Alright, see that? So he's coming from in close to out wide and using his legs and his whole body to create the momentum. You can't just use your arms. It's the beauty of the ropes. You have to use your entire body to get it to work. Alright, so if I take it back to the beginning and play it in fast motion for you again, just to give you an idea how explosive this can be. Alright, and that gives you an idea of just how tough this exercise can be. Alright, and a great one to build up that fast twitch fibres. Again, I can set it 100 times. Don't do this more than 20 seconds. That's about the cut-off point before you start getting too slow and you lose your timing. Alright, so hope you've enjoyed those, and I'll see you on some of our other videos.